In what has been the season from hell from the Dallas Mavericks, it's time to blow it up as the Mavericks find themselves in an unprecedented situation, gentlemen, given the fact that this team no longer has Luka Doncic, significant injuries to their even newly acquired guys, Anthony Davis and others. Is it time to take this thing and blow the entire thing up now?
Well, let's start real quick. Are they going to blow it up? And as far as we understand, as far as I understand, as far as the reporting has been on the matter, no. Nico Harrison was given, had a vision for this team, and he was given the green light by Patrick Dumont to execute this vision as he saw it making sense. Yes, it has gone worse than anybody could have imagined, but they at least have this, the team has an excuse. They have an understanding that the vision has not been, materialized on the court. Now, it's going to be very difficult as Kyrie slowly, goes through his injury process, and we don't know the status for him next year, and things could change. But as far as I understand, at this exact point right now, the team is going to go for it. They're going to go for this team as is. Do you think that's justified, Bobby?
I think it's justified only because if you are a proponent of the Mavs blowing it up, you are doing so probably because you want them to get younger, right? But they don't have any of their picks from 2027 to 2030. So if they do blow it up, they're not really going to benefit from that unless they acquire picks from another team. More importantly, though, I think that trading guys who are currently dealing with serious injuries, and unfortunately the reality is like Derek Lively, broken foot, Anthony Davis, although you would probably keep Lively in this scenario, but Anthony Davis might need surgery. Kyrie Irving, torn ACL. Daniel Gafford, severe knee injury. PJ Washington, a whole collection of injuries that has sidelined him. Like, you would be dealing from a position of weakness. In a negotiation, you want to be dealing from a position of strength. And so you would be trading guys for probably much less than you could get for them if they were playing well or if your team was doing well, if you didn't seem desperate at the negotiation table. And so that's one reason why I wouldn't want to. However, if you just want the Mavs to be bad, they could theoretically keep everybody that's already on the team right now and still be bad next year because these guys will be dealing with injuries. So they could keep the team together and still get another lottery pick in 2026.
That's the toughest thing about this is that Dallas, there's no way to go make a trade that's going to... So the Phoenix Suns are kind of dealing with in some ways they have a similar circumstance, but theoretically, both sides were amenable to the situation. They could trade Devin Booker back to Houston, right? And Houston has a lot of their picks. That's a scenario that theoretically could take place. Dallas's picks are owed from 2027 to 2030 to 4 different franchises. It's not a scenario where you can just go make one trade and get it all back. It's not viable in that way. The only viable path I see if I were Dallas and I were in charge of blowing it up now, or just at least saying trade Anthony Davis, go ship him off somewhere. The only viable path I see is more or less of a rebuild and more of a retool. And that's a scenario where you trade Anthony Davis, you trade the older players on your roster. Maybe you keep Kyrie. He's out all of next season. But you keep Kyrie, you keep Derek Lively, and the idea is to get as many picks as you can this draft, next draft. And Dallas also has picks this draft, next draft. And you just get as many young players on the roster. You don't have to jettison all your veterans. This would basically be, we're going to retrade Anthony Davis right after we acquired him. We're going to admit that is exact vision for the team doesn't make sense. And then we're going to get it younger, but not necessarily give up any chance of winning or give up any chance of being relevant from 2027 to 2030. Because there is no scenario where tanking during those years makes sense. And then it's just like kind of kicking it 2 years down the road and hoping that it all kind of comes together at that point. It's not the sexiest option. It's not really a great option. I actually kind of more lean towards where Bobby's at, where any chance of this team being relevant in the next few years comes from this vision, this bet on AD and a bigger roster and Kyrie coming back to something close to full strength and full health. I kind of think that's the best chance of Dallas being a relevant franchise in the NBA over the next 4 or 5 years. But I think if you were to blow it up, if you were to trade Anthony Davis already, that's the one scenario where I could kind of see it making sense. don't think it's what Dallas is planning to do or going to do.
Or
and certainly not going to do as long as Nico Harrison is GM.
Why would
Dallas
another
Mavericks.
team want to trade for Anthony Davis right now? Like, he's dealing with a serious injury and might need surgery. Like, you'll never get less for him than you would right now. And, like, you'll never get more for him than what you traded for him. So, like, you kind of have to just keep him.
I don't know.
No,
I mean,
not
I just saw Anthony Davis get traded, and they
While
just
he
got
was
a top
injured.
5 player is 25.
While he was injured. Like, the idea of trading for Anthony Davis now would be he gets let's say he needs to get surgery. He's going to have a clean bill of health theoretically by the time you get to the beginning of this upcoming year. You got yourself a top 10 two-way player in the game right now. And if you want him that badly, how much are you willing to give up? And honestly, to Tim's point, you smoked away relevancy when you traded away Luka Doncic. There's no guarantee that Kyrie Irving's coming back. He's got a player option that he gets to exercise. And if he decides he wants to leave, that's over with already.
Yeah,
so
that changes the calculus.
That
'cause, like,
changes the
that's
game
sort of
completely.
out of their control right
That's
now.
out of their control when it comes to Kyrie Irving. So if he's going to exercise the leverage that he could potentially have by saying, hey, you need me really badly here, you're going to give me exactly what I'm asking for, then he's going to hold them over a barrel. And now you've got a guy, let's say you keep Anthony Davis. He's got a 3-year, $175 million extension that kicks in at the beginning of this upcoming season. Kyrie Irving could be making over $50 million for the next 3 years if you keep him on a 3-year, $150 million deal. You've got two guys who are in their 30s who have been injury prone, one who probably won't play a lot of next year anyway. Oh, by the way, you got a 35-year-old Klay Thompson who'll be 36, who's making $17 million. I know I think it's a descending contract for him, but still, you've got 3 guys well over 30 dealing with significant injuries in terms of Kyrie and Anthony Davis, and a player in Klay Thompson who's descending. Blow the thing up and get younger and collect as much as you can to start over again.
I don't know what kind of young team with valuable picks would find players on the other side of 30 to be appealing. That's the thing. Like, I don't know who would give you a really valuable pick for Kyrie right now. I don't know who would give you a really valuable collection of picks for AD. Maybe there is a team that would do that. Maybe the Thunder would be like, sure, we'll give you 3 or 4 of ours, but then like you
would have to get multiple teams
really
involved.
want to do that? Yeah. And like that, I just don't know.
Would a team like the Knicks be interested in Anthony Davis?
Maybe.
I mean,
like would a team like?
But they don't have any of their picks anymore, right? Didn't they just trade them? They just traded 7 or whatever for Mikal
Bridges.
I think they still have a few. And the thing is, if you're asking for picks now and you're trading Anthony Davis, any team that's buying Anthony Davis is looking to win now for all the context and obvious situations about his age.
But that means that those picks won't be super good, right? They'll just kind of be like, unless there's a good team that has a bad team's picks, but that good team is going to want to hang on to those bad teams' picks.
I mean, it would be very complicated. You would have to get multiple teams involved to make multiple transactions work. But
I think one thing that we won't know, and we probably won't know this until the draft or free agency, and we might never know it, honestly, is how much the way the Mavs didn't involve the rest of the league in the Luka bidding war, they didn't even let it get to that point, has soured or potentially tarnished their reputation around the league. Are there going to be teams that are going to want to help the Mavs out at all? Or are they going to say, no, dude, F you. I will not offer you a single pick for any of your players.
Or very similar, are there agents who are maybe not openly, maybe not saying it directly to the Mavericks, but just a little bit turned off by the situation? We just saw Mikal Thompson come out. And Michael
Thompson.
Michael, but it's spelled, Michael Thompson just came out and talked about how he feels like Klay Thompson is kind of like stuck in a dead situation.
Yeah.
And Dallas did a lot.
He meant that because of the injuries, but that's a reality, though.
I agree. And it may have no effect. But that, I think, is one question that you got to kind of consider about the Dallas Mavericks. Because as a front office, you need to know where you stand within the league, within all the agencies, within all the teams, with all the perspectives that other people have of your front office and their willingness to do business with you. That is an important fact of info for you as a front office to have when you're going into a situation where you're trying to make deals and figure out what makes sense.
And given the Mavs just traded one of the best, most valuable players in the NBA for very little, and then they traded Quentin Grimes for more money, and they gave up the best pick and the best player in the Quentin Grimes trade. So how about that? The Mavs might be the mark. NBA teams might be like, this is an easy negotiation. So I'm not even sure that I want the Mavs to explore trades for these guys right now because they will almost certainly get very bad value back. Like I don't want them to blow it up for almost be out of fear.
It's a tough situation. It's a really bleak situation right now.
Join us here on DLLS Sports by commenting, and subscribing to DLLS Sports on YouTube. And make sure you download and subscribe to our podcast as well, wherever you get your podcasts, free on Spotify and iTunes as well. Search DLLS Mavs, get a 5-star rating, and write a review for it while you're there. That's Bobby Crowell. That's Tim Cato. I'm Kevin Gray. We're DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.